Welcome. If you are a young person or someone in a country affected by climate change, I want to apologise to you for the part that I have played all my life in increasing the environmental damage to our world and making your future very insecure. I have never known how it feels not to have enough money to buy food or not to have access to clean water. Sadly, it made me complacent. I've taken these things for granted up until very recently. I was born in England. I would describe my country as affluent. When I use the word affluent, I mean that we have a lot of money and material possessions. I would not describe my country as rich. For me, rich means abundant in natural resources. England has been very clever at extracting the natural richness from its own land and also lands that belong to others. But we have not been very clever at recognizing when we have gone too far. This same problem applies to most affluent countries at the moment. We are looking at wildlife, biodiversity, or soil health. Then England is one of the most impoverished areas in the world. We all need to understand that money has no intrinsic value of its own. Money is only useful when civilization is operating in a stable environment because it enables the exchange of goods. However, once our environment breaks down, then our money-focused civilization also breaks down because money cannot purchase food in a world that cannot grow crops. The COVID pandemic is a symptom of the ecological imbalance that we humans have caused with our unwise behaviour in recent decades. A highly respected organisation called the Global Footprint Network has been telling us since the 1970s that we are overspending on ecological budget. For more than 50 years, we have been using natural resources at a speed much faster than they can recover. Technology has helped us to do this. A few men with chainsaws can demolish a forest ecosystem that took hundreds of years to establish. We have seen this recently in England with the high-speed rail project, destroying some of the very last remaining forest and wildlife areas that we have in England, that we had. We are neither wicked nor unintelligent. We have simply been brought up to revere money more than nature. It is all part of the coercive consumer culture that drives economic growth. Most of the products that we buy are not essential for survival. We love to buy fizzy drinks in cans, water in plastic bottles, even though the water that comes out of the taps in our homes is perfectly good to drink. We love to buy clothes, shoes, even when we have plenty to wear already. Things all look so attractive in the shops. We love to buy the latest technological gadgets and cars. Advertising hypnotizes us and compels us to compete with our peers over many material things. We love to go on foreign holidays, although we know air travel emits high volumes of carbon dioxide. All these indulgences are threatening the future of the human race and the other life forms on our planet. I want to apologize to all of you because I have always been part of the civilization that is driving that collapse. In my activism, I use my writing skills to raise awareness and to change attitudes. I started with some poems which I sent to every UK MP in September 2020. The booklet started with an invocation. It said, perhaps these poems can inspire a culture change to light a fire in every heart and every mind, letting a new truth unwind. Once everybody feels the same, hope is shared as well as blame. More recently, I have written to the United Nations Framework Committee for Climate Change about a new idea called a United Aspiration. I am suggesting that we should aspire collectively to return at least 50% of the biocapacity of our planet to regenerate life forms other than our own. You can learn all about this concept and the 5 scientific insights which underpin it from my website, which is called Poems Parliament. Many of you will already be familiar with the temptations of affluence, because advertising has spread its dangerous influence throughout the world. Please be wiser than we have been. Do not make the same foolish mistakes that we have made. Dig deep into your soul to uncover what is really important in life. Learn to care about the natural world, because none of us can survive without a healthy ecological balance in our environment. Many of our most well-meant actions have exacerbated the predicament in which we find ourselves. The Green Revolution in the 1970s took us down the route of industrial agriculture. This accelerated the imbalance in our environment. In the short term, we helped many people to avoid starvation. But now we are facing the longer term consequences of soil degradation and loss of biodiversity. Those who enabled the changes were well intentioned. Our caring nature has caused us to want to keep people alive, even though this means increasing our global environmental debt. Here I'm referring to charities that work to counter famine and medical research that works to extend lives. Our brick-built houses and our electronic entertainment has distanced us from nature and encouraged our caring nature to focus on humanity. Most of us are unaware of the magnitude of the damage that we cause every day. Similarly, our caring nature and our entertainment do not consider the ecological impact of childbearing. This is because we do not wish to offend sensitivities or human rights. So there are multi-layered taboos around discussing both overpopulation and overconsumption. Both of these issues are driven by personal choice and our current culture of pursuing economic growth. As in the Green Revolution, as happened in the Green Revolution, many of our environmental organizations are still exacerbating the ecological crisis by artificially increasing our survival rates. This is done for the most part without educating and empowering people to choose to limit the size of their families. Other charities who are trying to protect endangered species are simply putting sticky plaster over a rapidly widening set of cracks. All these people are hardworking and well-meaning, but they do not recognize the fallacy that underpins. It is because most people are well-intentioned that I believe a collective aspiration ratified by the United Nations will give us all some real hope for the future. It will enable us to change our priorities so that instead of exacerbating our predicament, we start to address it realistically. We have ingenuity, we have passion, but we are currently focused on unsustainable growth. We need to aspire to rapid and voluntary degrowth. I urge all my young listeners to be wiser than we have been. Believe in yourself and your power to share your understanding of nature in a way that will inspire others to value a healthy environment as more important than the money that they can accumulate. If a person has no money but lives in a rich natural environment, then they stand a good chance to survive and to thrive. However, a person with plenty of money, but on a planet that lacks biodiversity, has infertile soil, unreliable rainfall, then your chances to survive are very limited. Remember that all you need are your 5 senses to appreciate and connect with nature and to feel the suffering that we are causing by imposing our needs above those of all other animals. If we nurture our environment and try to recover the damage that we have done, then nature may be able to recover enough to sustain us. If not, it will become increasingly difficult for all animals as well as humans. By connecting with nature, you will find the sincerity that you need to show others the way forward. I urge my older listeners to wake up to reality, to be willing to change, and to be willing to apologize. Our economic wealth is dependent on our ecological health, and that is disintegrating rapidly. it is too late in the day for sustainable development. There is only the option of developing sustainability. This we can do whilst facilitating degrowth as rapidly as possible. The Fit for 55 plans from the European Unions are a sad farce. New demographic models which factor in ecological collapse predict that most of us will likely be dead by 2040 if we cannot be more imaginative. The UK, of course, has the power to aspire to even less now that it is free from the European Union. It was May 2019 when the UK Parliament declared a climate and ecological emergency. It is high time they created a cross-party government to agree a way forward. This approach will ensure that credit or blame is shared in later years. If we demonstrate that we can work collectively within our own borders, this may translate to inspire global collective ambition in our presidency role at the COP26 climate conference in November this year. Many of the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals do not recognize the physical limits of our planet. These ones need to be reconsidered and altered to agree to more realistic aspirations at this advanced stage in the ecological crisis. We must concentrate on developing sustainability to enable as rapid a retreat as we can muster from using our ingenuity and our new direction as laid out in the United Aspiration. We need to help everyone who has the mental capacity to understand the scientific insights that underpin the aspiration. These insights, coupled with an awareness that we are facing imminent ecological collapse, will serve to inform their parenting choices and their purchasing choices. I would advise any young adult, if you have the power to choose, then please choose to hold fire on having a family, at least until humanity wakes up from its dream, its unrealistic dream. Go on birth strike. Tell the politicians, your meager plans are not adequate for a child of mine. Go away and rethink. Please consider promoting the concept of a united aspiration to give all our children a fighting chance for the future. If you have enjoyed listening to me, much of my writing is available free to download from my website, including the transcript to this talk. My book, which is called Saving Us from Ourselves, gives some ideas how we might in the UK aspire to live very differently. The name of the website is called Poems for Parliament, and you can download the original booklet of poems from there. Thank you all very much for listening to me. and especially for the opportunity to apologize in public for the tragically misguided behavior of my country over many decades. I am hoping that will soon change, because there is growing awareness now that we are making things worse every day with our pursuit of economic growth.